Yes, sir. Good morning and good evening to all the honorable dignitaries and participants here at the virtual platform. Shri Kumarswami College heartily welcomes delegates and dignitaries at this virtual platform for the International E-Conference. The topic of today's International E-Conference is Mindfulness and the Placebo Effect. The college, Sri Kumarswami College, Ausa, as you know very well, every day organizes a webinar and simultaneously national and international conferences. The reason behind organizing these webinars and conferences is to exchange knowledge of different topics and subjects, which will be beneficial for students, researchers, teachers, and different different people who seek the knowledge of particular subject. The international conferences and webinars are organized, and the major major role has been played by the chief organizer, Honorable Principal Dr. M. Ambedkar sir. I welcome you, sir, as the chief organizer and chairperson of this international conference. Today, I am feeling pleasure to inform all the delegates that we have keynote speaker and chief guest, Honorable Dr. Truong ma'am from Texas, USA, among us to enlighten us on the topic mindfulness and the placebo effect. Before the actual commencement of the keynote speech, I would like to invite Chief Organizer, Honorable Principal Dr. M. Ambedkar sir, for his opening words. Please, sir, welcome.
Thank you, Prakash sir, Professor Prakash sir, and all the
Welcome.
participants, those who are joined from my college. Today, we are here for listening on the topic mindfulness and placebo, placebo effect. Uh, as you are knowing that Dr. Nu madam is not new for this dais. I think her second time she is attended here as a resource person. Yes. So today also we will listen from her about this topic. She is expert in the mindfulness and all the activities. So that we request resource person madam to start her speech. I welcome from my all college. Thank you. Thank you.
Now I request Honorable Dr. Truong ma'am, please deliver your lecture on the topic mindfulness and the placebo effect. Please, ma'am, welcome. And thank you, sir, for your opening words. Please, ma'am.
Thank you. Can everyone hear me okay? Just want to make sure the audio is good. Uh, Maybe give some thumbs up or any reactions that's good. You can hear me okay?
Yes, yes, ma'am, yes. Loud and clear.
Thank you so much. Well, first I want to say thank you to Dr. Becker and everyone who's joining us today around the world, whether it's mostly for a good evening or a good morning. But I'm grateful and honored to be here. And one of the things before I like to start is for those who are joining us live or listening to us on the replay or on YouTube or whatever format that you'll be able to listen and get this message. For those who cross path with us, may all who listen to this benefit for the well-being for not only for yourself but for your family in the future eons is to always be healthy, happy, and to have abundance of love, joy, and prosperity. so that way you can help not only yourself but help others around the world, near and far. So I'm honored to be here, and thank you so much, and for taking your time and joining us on this beautiful day, and on this mindfulness and the placebo effect. I think from a perspective, like from a practitioner in healthcare settings, when we look at placebo is something that meanings if you give a dose of a drug or medications that has an active ingredient versus a placebo, which is it doesn't have anything, but the patients, the end user thinking there is something in it. So that is placebo effect. Placebo is just something that you will put in a double blind placebo control. Many clinical data and many trials have put into tests. And one of the things when we talk about back to the mindfulness, there are many programs that helps to reduce stress. As students go to school, whether it's college or whether it's personal development or business development, mindfulness has a very big impactful, because everything starts with how we train and rewire our brains. And the mindset is so important, because you can learn, you can have all the tools, but if you don't have the right mindset, you don't have the determinations, and you're not clear, then your path will not be right, because it starts with the intentions, it starts with our thoughts. And mindfulness is where it's like the seed. When you grow into a tree, you need to have all the things for it to nurture. And that is just so kind of on a high overview of a holistic approach. When you put things together, it's so important to see that in real life, the applications and how it apply. And I'm sure lots of everyone around here practice. Not sure if maybe those who have already practiced mindfulness, and at any time anyone would like to ask any questions, they can raise their hand or they can type in the chat, because it's something that is open dialogue is better than just talking and then ask at the end, because sometimes when things arise and you like to ask questions, then please do feel free to ask questions. So with that, mindfulness, it's a practice in education that it can enhance a student's learning experience, because it promotes the focus and the attentions, and how you deal with the emotion regulations. So when we practice mindful, the deep breathing, and we pay attention to our thoughts and how our bodies are giving signals, it will tell you things, because if you're not in tune, you're not paying attention, then you're going to miss those signs. So for instance, sometimes our bodies will tell us, I'm having headache, I'm having body aches, I'm having certain things that are coming to me that you never had before. But if you think it's nothing to worry about, you keep on going day by day and you don't pay attention to it, then it's going to get worse and worse until your body are being dragged down or being knocked down even more severely, because your body is a signal. It's telling you, hey, pay attention to me. I need to tell you something, right? And that is where our mindfulness practice will be able to also help you not only be able to focus really your attentions and everything that you put in, wherever you focus, that's where it grows. So in the same scenario, if you're positive when you look at the problems, and if you don't look at it as it's so overwhelming and it's negative, or it's such a problem that I can't solve, but if you look at it as there's an opportunity to grow, there's an opportunity to innovate, that is where you can take it, the same problem, but turn into a different result and a different mindset to start with. So then your mind is already open. And as far as with, there's different type of mindfulness based programs. I'm sure you heard of mindfulness based stress reductions and another mindfulness based cognitive therapy that can introduce them educational settings to support students on their mental health and resiliency. Because as we go through any challenges, the resiliencies and be able to adapt to anything, to be able to say, it's okay, even if I make mistakes, how can I get up and how can I keep going? So resiliency is so important, and how our mental health and our overall well-being is important. And as educators and as teachers and as leaders, we want to be mindful on how our approach, right, our learning experiences, and when we foster the self-awareness and when we have empathy and compassion amongst our students and other fellows, then you know that the impact is tremendous, because you're also on the other side. You're not only seeing from your point of view, but you also approach it from other perspective, and knowing that not everyone walks the same walks of life. And so when we are being more self-aware, in tune to all the message that come to us, and having that empathy and compassionate, that is where we can heighten our awareness, and we can able to deliver even more, because we are really being present. And with the placebo effect, it's really, there's a lot of things when studies have shown you can compare a mindfulness meditation is all really stay tuned, being in the present and being aware, and don't ponder in the past and don't look too further in the future, because the present you're going to miss if you ponder the past or the futures. And one of the things when they compare, there's a lot of data that even help anxiety and depressions or insomnia. So things that are quick of taking a medications, there's always a side effect. So placebo effect is when I give you the same pill, I say this medications or this pill is going to help you with anxiety or depressions. But in fact, that one, it's just a method, and we go into the same method, but just telling you that infuse the mindfulness, and how day to day, when you believe in the process and trust and keep going, you will see that your lives has changed, because you're already open to the different perspective and different ways of learning and receiving. And it becomes more beautiful when you see in that aspect, and it changed. And so it starts with us. And not sure if anyone have any questions as far as so far. If not, then please do.
I,
Yes, sir.
I would like to request all the participants and delegates, if you have any question or if you want to ask something or place your opinion about the topic, please, participants.
Good evening, ma'am.
Yes. Good evening. How are you
Madam,
doing?
fine. Madam, it has been very impressive lecture, talk, and we feel that it is really important to note that the students should be aware of their body consciousness. They should be aware of all these things. These learning experiences should be shared with the students also. The things which you have told us, It is really an inspiring talk, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you. It's good to hear from you. I know last time I had the honor to be in the room with you. So thank you and hope you're doing well.
Anybody else with any question?
What is the query, sir? Please.
Vidyasagar sir, do you have any question to ask?
What is the query?
No, sir. I am requesting you if you have any question.
About the I have forget what are ma'am asking.
Honorable
Oh,
ma'am
just
has talked on the topic mindfulness and placebo effect.
so I guess if no one, then I like to continue and share. And if you do, then please do either raise your hand or you can chime in and unmute and ask the questions. One of the things when we talk about mindfulness and placebo really also takes another level as if we feel that we cannot do anything, we cannot change our career, we cannot go to the next level of growth on educations or in business or in family, it has to start with the wanting to better, and it start with us. If we say yes, I can do it, your mind will lead you. Say yes, I can do it. You're determined. But if you put on ourselves, we put our own limits. We put our own limiting, saying I cannot do this. I can't. I don't know how. I don't have the resources. I don't have this. Then you're already starting on a negative. But if you say, I want to and I can, and that is the power of what we put out, the words, the power of words and how we use and how we train our brain. And our brain, if every day we say, I'm thankful and I'm grateful for all the things I have, how can I be better so I can help my family? How can I be better to help myself so I can help my family, to show them I'm grateful and I'm thankful for all that they've done for me? And how can I make the world a better place? That thought is the seed that you inspire and you want to do better, and it start with all that. And that is a powerful, that when you believe that you not only wants to, but also you have a desire, and you have it, whether it's silently in your thoughts or you say it out in the universe, whether you believe in whatever religion, even if it's the law of the universe, you will receive if you put in the works. And that is when people think there is something mystery, a higher divine in that aspect. There is, when there's a concept, they say, if you say that you cannot do it, you're right. But if you say that you can do it, you're right. So it's up to us and what we want to do and what we want to put at limits. If you don't put a limits to yourself, then all the things that you need, the resources, the tools will come to you. Just the thoughts of what do you want to do, right? And that is where it has to start with us. And I think someone just raised hand. I think earlier I just saw someone raise their hand, I think. Yeah. So for one of my experience in mindfulness is one is dealing with a grief when I lost during the pandemic. With about 3 years ago, my nephew lost his life, um, really took his own life, and he was only 16 years old. So that was a very traumatic time for not only for myself and all the families that are involved. And we are very spiritually, you know, we come from in our background like we're Buddhists, but we believe really deep on doing the right things and all the things that you're supposed to. And even at that moment, it tests your not only your belief, but also spiritually and all the things that come when things happen. That's when it tests you on your emotions, how you deal with the happening now, dealing with the trauma and the grief. But also, it's like a reflection of you. What have you done? The survival guilt, and what could you have done to prevent it or change that scenario? And sometimes you can't really say that what can you do then because the past is already gone. What can you learn from the lessons that's putting on so you can learn about it? And what can you do now moving forward? That is has been when that moment is one of the moments that not only put my effort and all the things in mindfulness is being able to practice and knowing that we appreciate the life that I have. Like I appreciate all the people in my life that come across, not only my family, my friends. So I take the things always happen for a reason, and during that moment, it tests you because I see the most difficult moment when you also question yourself. You're questioning what is your role in this, you know, trauma, this grief. How can I help not only for the better of our family, but lots of other families are dealing with the same grief. Everyone goes through grief as in a loss, whether it's, you know, someone take their own life or someone illness, whether it's old or young. How do we deal with emotional challenges that comes to us? And it's when we kind of take your time to yourself and really have a routine consistency to have a moment of gratitude, a moment of how grateful and how thankful you are. And when you generate the thoughts of, I want to help others so they don't have to suffer, whatever that you want, that's how it started for me because I yearn to help others, but I'm in the situations that are tough because I have two kids. I have two small kids. I cannot just leave unless they be a go to become a monk. Whether you know when people think of, well, I want to alleviate a lot of things. You want to do this and you want to do that. It's a lot of we wants to do, but we always wants and wish that we're not in that situation. But in fact, everything happened for us. Life is not always green. They say, you know, grass is not green, always green on the other side. Because when we compare ourselves to others, we think that someone else has it much more nicer, so much more beautiful. But they let you see their part of their story, only wonderful things. They don't share with you all the things that are there's a challenges, then everyone can relate to us, right? People can relate to our problems, and they can see that through how we deal with the situation. It's not because we're waiting just to have a quick fix of taking a medication or a pill, but it's our determination. Same thing is if someone like so at the moment on my, Dr. Becker asked, share some experience. So one of that experience is turned. So at that moment, I can go into shut off and go into my cave and go into press mode, right? And grief and dealing with just stuck in that mindset of survival guilt and blaming that maybe, I should have done this or I should have, be able to be around. But everyone has a responsibility and a role in this life. And the only thing we can do is do the best every day, show up every day, because life is very short. That's the lessons when you go through anything. That is where you have to look at it. What is it telling you? Because life happens for us, not to us. And a lot of people who always say, it's even in struggles and adversity, it's been given to us because we can overcome it. So people who are listening and thinking, well, it seems so silly, but it is true, because only when you get over it can you help someone else. Only can we overcome our struggles and our adversity can we really speak really from our own experience, because every day we have someone who lose, a loved one or a family or friends from whatever reasons, whether it's health related or a tragedy or an accident, right? But it's how we choose to take the message and that become a purpose, whether it's a small or big part of your purpose. So in things, sometimes if we're not in tune and we're not aware of all the things that it's giving us during the lesson in this journey, then we might keep on seeing the same scenario, and then we still see the same struggles. But if you see like life is impermanence, this body that we're blessed to have, no matter where we are, is temporary. So when we know that it's temporary, we're not attached to it. We're not attached to it's my family, it's my mind. So it's that ego kick in, the moment of attachment that you love so much, no one else can have. The same scenario if our spouse, our family, or someone that we really cherish, and then if they love or they take care or they say nice things to someone else, we take it offensive. We take it jealousy, because it's a reflection of us, right? It's how we deal with any situation. It comes from us. Sometime in anything that come, and it's when most challenging moment, how do we deal with it? Are we blaming on others for what it happens, or are we taking responsibility and ownership to say, okay, what can I do to make it better? What can I do to be the change in the world that we like to see? And so, that is like one thing that I see, how it changed your everything around you. And another scenario I like to share with you is I had dealt with a like very toxic workplace. We both were in the same situations, right? And this coworker of mine could not deal with how bad it was, and I can see why. I know why. But also, at the moment when I say, I realize this is so horrible, how this moment when someone treat one human being to another, and it's supposed to be in the healthcare to take care of one another, to care for one another. In fact, it's the opposite. People wear masks. People only think about money, right? So with that moment, I realized when you're putting, not even they appreciate what you care for, but if you treat someone and you corner them so bad, the moment it breaks, they can't take anymore. It's not about money. Then it's either they can get out of that situations, or they already have a lot going on that they inflict their own pain. That's where people commit suicide, cannot deal with all the things that come to them because life already rough for people. Or people go in massive shooting or hurting other, or take the anger out of someone else because they don't know how to deal with it. That's where we have to know that it's not about the situation, it's how we deal with it. How can the same situations is different? So my coworker was dealing with very toxic, bad boss micromanagement to the level. It's like living in hell on earth on a human level, when like her nephew was sick and the boss and the managers of the didn't even care of why are your nephew okay? No, none of that came about. The first thing is, it shouldn't be your responsibility. That's not your kid. For that to come out and not care for your employee, that means you only care for yourself. But when people show up, you have to embrace all the things that come with the person. If they have a sick kid, or if a niece, a nephew, or even if it's a close friend, but it's someone in their life that is so important to them, and that they need to take care of. And the moment when, at that time, when someone say, yes, I'm gonna either leave or stay with a toxic that you can either hold on so tight that to the point that whenever you can't deal with it anymore, then the balloon will pop. That's when you can't deal with it, you snap. So I realized at the moment, I say, that is where people can turn the opposite, can either break or make someone. So in reality, and then my thoughts of generating, I need to be able to help people, because I told her, I have to get out. I cannot be in a situation like this. Are you going to be okay? And then she's told me that she's been with another toxic workplace that's worse than this. And she came back to this place only 4 hours of working. Knowing how bad it is for her to attempt a suicide, overdose, like a drug overdose, for the first time at a different place. Now this is a second time. And she expressed that she was able to hang on and stay. And the only reason she stayed is because I was genuinely care for her. And she know how much I care for her. It makes her have that hope, right? The hope to live, because so much going on at home, so much struggles. And that is where, when you have the wish that you want to solve, it's not about having all the things. You don't have to have all the things that you think you need to have. But then just the thoughts and being genuinely care, have empathy and compassion for others, you're able to help people. And that is a beautiful, when the moment that I arise, the moment I say, then I need to be able to amplify and help people more and more to realize that you don't need just rely on the medications. You don't need to have, I need to have this so I can be happy. I need to be, X amount in my bank account so I can. There's not, can you guarantee there's a tomorrow? Can you guarantee that is the result? There's always a cause and effect. There's a benefit, risk and benefit. Because when you take a medication, rely on it, then then you can have side effect, right? But if you're in control of yourself and knowing what you can do and take the power in you, then you can be present and knowing what you have to do. If you have a health challenges, then you should know all the things that the doctor tells you, but also make sure and follow up and knowing your health care, meaning the plan of treatment, not just give authority to someone else and not being in charge of your own health and your well-being. The same way if you're on a career path, you cannot just say, well, my teacher told me I couldn't do this, or my teacher say, I'm this way, I'm that way. You have to find your own path, knowing what is your value, your passions, what is your purpose, what is it that you want to do, what is it that you want to do, even if you don't get paid, right? What is the things that will change not only just on financial, because the moment that you do it with the right intentions, and you want to help others, because it starts with us. We want to solve a problem for our own. Then you want to solve, and then you solve for other people problem. Then everything else will come. So when in that moment when I said I need to be able to help people, how can I empathize? I'm not a like a Tony Robbins who inspire and motivate people, but it start with us wanting. It start with what you want, then everything else come. The placebo effect is you think you have all the things, but then you don't need all the things will come to you. But it has to start with you. Same thing is if you want to solve a problem, you need to you want to yearn for it. You have to be able to have a desire and ask for it, and in some fashions of meaning the universe, the higher divine, wherever you believe, they bring you the right people to amplify what you want to message out in the world. Because like for me, I feel the world now need more. It's not about I need a quick medication, I need a quick something. And people like Botox, a lot of surgery and a lot of cosmetics and all the things, but it's external. It's not long lasting happiness. Is it going to guarantee you'll be happy if you have $1 million in the bank, or are you going to be happy into something? You cannot be. You can still be happy even if you don't have that amount in your bank. But I felt the true happiness comes from within us, right? Cannot be looking for happiness externally and looking for other ways and other people telling you you're beautiful, you have what it takes, you're unique. You have to know to be able to look within. How can I be happy? And that is the true power, because when you take ownership and you're mindful of your thoughts, when you generate the pure thoughts with no motive, it's not a motive of I want to do this because I want to be famous. If I do this because I want to make this amount of money, those things are, even if it's quick to attain, but then a lot of people fall. A lot of people go into a lot of depressions because that's not true happiness. That's not true joy. And so why do you see a lot of celebrity? Why do you see a lot of people who have lots of money still take their own lives, right? And we're thinking they have it all made. They have this long list of so much success. And so we have to be able to live our own life, cannot just compare others with our own journey. And when we have to be careful on the thoughts and the things that come to us and what we say of others, it comes back to us. We have to put a mirror and say, how do we want to be treated? How do we want to show up? If we put a mirror in front and see a reflection, then you see the things. Don't expect others people. But when you have that moment to have an introspection, look within you have a pause of gratitude on things that what can you do, but also give yourself some compassion and some love and kindness and grace for yourself. Because sometimes we're so easy to forgive others, but we're so hard on us. And so that is where a lot of things, it changed the moment our thoughts change. Our circumstances and our ability to do anything, it start with us. Not sure, Dr. Becker, very hot, very is a boy, right? Dr. Becker, very handsome, very, very, very cute. Grandson. Oh, so hello. Hello. Mm, hello. 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 Oh, I see your shirt says see you later. I like your shirt. I like your shirt. So handsome. Thank you. Oh, yes, you are so welcome, and you're so handsome and so. I heart. You see a heart? Mm, adorable and handsome grandson. Ah. Not sure if we have anyone would like to give any feedback or any questions.
Any question from anybody, participants, please?
If
I
if
think
not, I can give another example.
there is not any question from anybody.
So I'll give
Today,
another example of.
yes.
It's okay. Yes. So one other thing to relate, on a health would be when I was under a lot of stress, and I was gone through, and my heart rate was high, blood pressure was high, but be able to control our emotions by the meditations or the prayers or the gratitudes, consistency, and rewire of our train of how we deal with our emotions. I was not only not having to be tied to medications, right? Because stress induced will cause a lot of issue with our own health. And sometimes, not saying that you don't need, but you could take less of it or every other day or half the dose. But you have capacity. We all have capacity to make changes to our own well-being. And the things that we yearn for, and because we see a lot of things in social media, they advertise you and you think is very appealing, so you want to keep trying, keep doing things, but really in actuality we have to look within us, and then anything else is an extra to help you outside. But you cannot just depending on someone to tell you all the wonderful thing, and depending on their words and their recognitions and all things for you to do what you need to do. You have to look within you to be able to stand strong, hold your value, know your purpose, and where you came from, and where do you want to go, and what do you want to do with your knowledge and your skills. When we go through in education, we're continually learning. I'm sure Dr. Becker liked to learn. We all keep on learning, because the more we learn, the more we don't know, because it's so much out there. Where we close off and we just thinking one method is right, and we're not willing to try the other methods, we might be missing out something. So be able to willing to give it a try and be open mind to learn. You will see a lot of things that will open doors for, and you see a lot of beautiful things when you have an open mind and open heart to learn and receive, and then use that to also help others. Because the ultimate of what we do, we have to be able to do it for the higher of humanity, bringing, for the well-being of our family and others, because we know how much struggles, adversity, and whether it's, for instance, people around the world come from family of poverty. I came to the U.S. Not having anything. My family come from, like fleeing a country to another country that now become a home. But, I was born in Vietnam, came to the U.S. not knowing any of the language. But if I take the feedback of some of the teachers who tell me I will be nothing, I can't pass the board, I'm going to be a nobody, and keep that and say, I guess I can't be. But if you don't have determinations to get out, and don't be stuck in that circumstances because you don't have the means, you don't have the financial, you have to find ways so you can be able to not only pay back and give back, until we're able to stand strong mentally, for instance, then you can't hold a space to help others, right? When you're so in the depressed mode and just think about yourself, then you have no space to think of others. So you have to be able to have space to be able to work and be looking within, but also have that welcome to everyone and be able to learn from, and people can receive. But if we're not able to gone through that experience and not overcome struggles, pain, it will go away. So I start with our mind of how much we determine and how much of a big issue we think is, are we gonna die, or are we gonna, those are the things that we can change. I think it's admit. Oh, but it's from the health journey. I see. It start with your willpower, that you can do changes. You have to want to do it. Then all the things come. You will make the changes in a career. If we ourselves say, I can't because I don't have money. I can't because I don't know the language. I'm not going to be. You're too overwhelmed with it, then you can't start anywhere. The same way in business and at home. If you see something, you want to give up. You want to just, I don't want to do this anymore. It's very easy, but where it's going to lead you, you have to think of a whole picture of a holistic. What would it happen to your family, to you? All the decision that we make, you have to know that there's an effect on it. And so when you look and you're so calm, you're not in a stress, flight, or fight mode, then you'll be able to have more intentions, the right way, a right path, and you will see things more clearly. But if you're just chasing the shiny object externally, looking for clues, looking for signs, looking for things, then that's where people resort to just a quick fix of medication. I need this to help me with anxiety. I need this to help me with depression. I need this to help me sleep, because everything starts with our mind. We're not able to sleep because unconsciously within us, we have things whether we worry about that we don't have control over. So how about we train our mind consistently? What can you do to change that situation? If you can't change, then maybe prayers, maybe things for the better of your time. We all have 24 hours a day. What can you do to maximize the time? So the time could be, if we are a housewife, if we are working from home, any action that we do, you still can do it for the benefit for everybody. Meaning, even if you're doing house chores and doing laundry, but if you have a thoughts that I want to help people so they can be better, your thoughts of wanting to do that, your actions is doing the things inside the household, that generate a lot of merits, generate a lot of merits that you generating out to the universe, to everyone that you pray on, you think of. So nothing is, you can do so much, but what you limit is depend on you. So the only factor is ourself. We put our own handcuff, we put our own limits, we put our own lid and saying, I can only do this. Why do we have to put ourselves that way? You can do anything if you're, of course, for the right reason, for a positive impact for your life and helping others, to uplift others. Then all the things that you need will come to you. There's lots of people who are willing to help. Teachers are wonderful. We have to give thanks to all the teachers, because they don't get paid enough, but they want to be a part of shaping our futures. Our leaders for tomorrow is our next generations. Like Dr. Becker with his grandson, he will be the next future of whatever CEO or whatever it is. But it's not about having all the things, the money, but what can you do for society, right? When we leave this earth, what are we able to do? Our impact that we're leaving behind is the seed. It's like changing our, when we think of, when I think of mindfulness and impermanence and how every day we deal with people dealing with grief, a lot of loss of their family or their loved ones. It's a lot of hurt that people can't move on. But when you hold on to so tight, you have to think of it. Their time on this earth is only very limited. It could be 5 years, it could be 10 years, it could be 40, 50, 70, 90, 100. But that's why we have to be present. We have to be, when you're with your family, when you're with your friend, when you're with Dr. Becker, just be fully here, right? Be fully present, because all the things that you need, you have it with you. We have all the things that we need to take us to the next level, but we have to know and really reflect and look within us, put a mirror in front and see what we have. What are we lacking? But it's not that we can hone in, we can learn, we can get more knowledge on. So it's a lot of things. If you depend on others, then you give others control of your own lives. You have to take control back. It's the destination that you want to go. You're your own driver. Like a comic movies, and people think about superhero, Superman. In our life, we can't say, I'm waiting for a Superman to come save me. You have to be your own superhero. You have to be your own hero, because only you can take you to the next level. Only you can make decisions to take actions and do the work consistently so you can get better, right? Having that consistent, small daily actions can take you to the next level but also know where you came from, how you led to that path, so you can give back. Because people who support you all the way when you are nothing, don't forget them when you become successful, because giving back and supporting others is ultimately, whatever industry we go into, we have to be able to do that, because then our lives are more meaningful. I talk too much, Dr. Beckett. But it's truly, I see a lot of people looking for ways, right? A lot of people looking for health solution, people looking for, I don't like my job, I want to change job, I don't like this, I don't like my family, I don't like this and that. But it's I, right? I in everything. We can change it. Is how we view anything. If we're stuck in a job and you don't like it, how can you change that mindset and reframe our mind? What can I learn from that place so I can grow? What can I learn from it to learn all the skills, learn all the experience? So when you go to the next company, you'll be better because you already doing all the hard work that no one willing to do. So don't be like, oh, well, because I didn't get paid enough. A lot of people that I've gone through, and people give projects nobody want to do because they don't get paid. But it's exchanging for your experience, or just wanting to make quick money. Even if you get the same pay as someone with no duties, no responsibility, you will come out much better because you have learned all the experience and worked through those experience. That is a wisdom that no one can take that away from you. And so it's, everything is perspective. Everything that you want to change, that you want to move, you wish you do this, you wish, there's nothing that you cannot do, but you have to know to look within and have a pause. Don't go too fast and say, I want this and this and that, but then we don't take responsibility for our own action. We blame on others when things go wrong. But when we take ownership and say, even if right now in the world that's so much chaotic and violence and things, but if you think of, there are lots of people who are doing wonderful things, then you see beauty in it. You don't see chaotic. When you see there's opportunity for us to spread more love and kindness and empathy and compassion, then you only focus on that. So whatever your mind focus, it will grow. So that is very powerful. So take control of that. Don't let anyone tell you and put other thoughts. You have to be able to look within, find the community that will uplift you, support you, and mentor you, because they are very valuable. And always show gratitude for all those that have and make an impact on you, because they will also be not only cheering you on, supporting you when things doesn't go right. Right, Dr. Becker?
Thank you, ma'am. You have very useful and wonderful lecture on the topic mindfulness and placebo effect. As you have told, mindfulness plays very important role in each and everything. Positive thinking, optimism, self-inspiration, meditation, and our wish to do something good for ourselves and others. This increases our self-confidence, and we can achieve anything if one says that I can. And so this is the gist of your lecture. So on behalf of the organizing committee of International E-Conference and College, I am very thankful to you. Now after this, I would like to invite Honorable Principal Dr. Bedkar sir for his closing remarks. Please sir, welcome. Welcome.
Thank you so much, Dr. Becker.
Thank you, sir.
And
Thank you, sir. Yes.
Thank you, sir, for your closing remarks. And now I am here for vote of thanks. First of all, I would like to thank Dr. Truong ma'am from Texas, USA, who has spared her precious time and delivered a very nice lecture on the topic mindfulness and placebo effect. On behalf of the organizing committee, I extend my sincere gratitude to you for your lecture. I also thank Honorable Principal Dr. M. Betkar sir for his continuous and unstoppable efforts to continue webinar series and national and international conferences, and these are helping number of people in different fields. So thank you, sir. I also thank all the delegates and participants for their continuous support to the webinar series and national and international conferences. And delegates are the soul of this webinar series and conferences. Thank you. I request all participants to fill feedback link to have your certificate. The feedback link has been posted in the chat box. And at the end, with the kind permission of Chief Organizer, Honorable Principal Dr. M. Ambedkar sir, I declare here that today's International E-Conference is over and hoping your good cooperation even in the future. Thank you. Thank you very much.
I think is it Dr. Lakush have a raise his hand, Dr. Becker? Well, thank you so much, Dr. Becker, and everyone who's attending us. And may you and your family always be healthy, happy, and have abundance of peace and joy. And may not only today, but for all the days to come, and for the rest of this life and many lives to come, may I wish you nothing but the best of blessings to you and your family. And thank you so much for coming and attending and watching us. Thank you so much. Thank you, Dr. Becker and everyone. Uh, let's see. Hello. What's that on your hand? Hello. Hmm. Whoa. You have a watch? What is it? What kind of watch? Oh. Well, what time you go to bed? Soon? How old is he, Dr. Becker? How old is he? Wow. You speak really well. 3-year-old. Whoa. What about India? Like he speak at home? Or no. No, teaching him at home, maybe another language, or he hear it at home. Yeah. Mm. And so the kid they can have more than one language when they understand when from they're little.